excited to get to share this project with you all. Ever since I was a kid, I've had a fascination for all things mechanical and electrical, but particularly I was fascinated by racing gearboxes. And then after discovering 3D printing, I immediately knew that this was my chance to create a model of one of my favorite gearboxes, the Sequential dog box. Just a background on this, I originally had no plans to release this design. It was really just going to be a test bed. Like so many of my projects, it got a bit out of hand, and it works really well. So I thought that this made a good chance for me to have my acting and directorial debut on YouTube and get this out there to share with the world. I think overall it turned out really well. So this video here is just going to be an overview of the transmission. I plan on releasing all the CAD, code, and STL files to my GitHub repository, and you can download it and make your own and try to, do a little bit of potentially another video that actually has a walkthrough of how to assemble the transmission and how to tune it. Okay, first off, I think it's worthwhile to cover what makes a sequential dog box special. We'll start with what is a dog box. So just to contrast it, the manual gearbox in your typical street car uses something called synchromesh, which allows for smooth and quiet shifts and a long-lasting gearbox. Race cars have completely different requirements. They want primarily to be able to shift fast, and they don't care about how harsh the shift is, how noisy the shift is, or the fact that the gearbox requires frequent rebuilds. So these two pieces here are the actual components of a dog box. So this is an actual main shaft gear, and these actual teeth on the gear are called the dogs. And this is called a slider. And as you can see, the slider has matching dogs on it. Essentially, when you mesh the two together, they interlock. And there's actually a slight taper to them so that they pull together as they lock. This allows you to shift very quickly. And as you can see, it's probably a very harsh engagement as you have this gap between the teeth. One of the cool things about dog boxes is you do not have to use a clutch other than to get the car moving from a dead stop to shift between gears. So you can essentially keep your gas to the floor, and as quickly as you can pull back the lever with a quick blip of the throttle, boom, you're in the next gear and locked in. Okay, another difference between this gearbox and the gearbox in your street car is that it's a sequential shift pattern. Your street car typically uses an H shift pattern where there's a particular location that you have to put the stick for each gear. This, you just simply pull back to upshift and push forward to downshift. This is a real advantage in a racing car. As anyone who has raced an H pattern gearbox will tell you, they don't call it a money shift for nothing. With a sequential shifter, you don't have to worry about trying to find where a particular gear is. You've got a lot going on. You're being thrown around with G-forces and everything else. So it's a lot easier just to be able to pull back or push forward and know that you're going to get the gear that you're expecting. Okay, I decided just to give you an overview of the transmission in CAD because it's a lot easier than disassembling the entire transmission, so that I can kind of show you each part and component. So this is the overall transmission. So this first component up is the lay shaft. So the lay shaft has all of these gears directly tied to the shaft itself. And on the right hand side is the actual input pulley that powers the shaft and the entire transmission. So really the lay shaft's job is to convey the input rotation over to the main shaft, which is the next component we'll look at. Okay, so this is the main shaft. Kind of as we talked about before, all of these gears that are on the main shaft are actually rollerized, meaning that they have a bearing in them so that they can spin independent of the shaft. So essentially the lay shaft is driving all these gears, and the actual main shaft, the red shaft, is not moving at all. To actually select a gear, the shift forks, the gold shift forks, will slide one direction or the other and actually engage the dogs with that particular gear, and to actually lock the slider to the hub, which is locked to the main shaft itself, and then you actually have a gear selected and output occurs. Okay, this next component is called the shift drum, or sometimes called, I've seen it, the shift barrel. So how it works is, if you see the shift forks actually on the top, it's a little hard to see, is there's a pin that actually is in the slot that is on the shift drum itself. And as the shift drum is rotated by the shifter mechanism, the shift fork itself will slide, either front or back and select the appropriate gear. And you can kind of see that the main gears for 1 through 4 actually shift both directions, and there's an actual no selection in between them because you have to sequence them so that it's sequential, and that the reverse gear itself just only moves one direction to select or not select. And then the little gear you see at the end of the first set of shift drums, that actually just drives another gear which has the potentiometer on it for the gear indicator. Okay, the last part of the gearbox is the shifter mechanism itself. And so this is the actual shifter mechanism. And I'll just kind of break down all the parts. Of course, you've got the shifter itself with the knob. And then the red piece here, this is actually a ratchet mechanism. So what happens is essentially it pushes down on those pins or pulls back on the pin to rotate what's called the detent wheel with all the pins sticking out. And that in turn rotates the shift drum itself. As it goes all the way to the end of selecting and the detent goes past, essentially what happens is it allows this little red piece to flop back over the pins and reselect the next pin so you can either shift up or down from the gear that you're in. The 2 springs on the back are to recenter the shifter so that it springs back straight up. And that pin that's in just above those springs, that one actually is just a stop or a limit. Okay, on the back side here of the shift mechanism, you can actually see the point where the shifter itself pivots. There's typically a little 608 bearing in there that it pivots on. But the big piece on this is actually the detent wheel and the detent arm. So the detent wheel, as you can see, has the pins that the ratchet mechanism actually moves with, but the little individual bumps on it are traced by that detent arm, which has a little rod in it and it's attached to a spring. What this does is it ensures that the transmission, as you're shifting gears, can only stop in a particular position. So it gives you a nice, shift feel. As I mentioned, this was just meant to be a quick, cheap proof of concept. It got a little out of hand. I think I printed most of the parts at least 4 times, some of them 10 plus times to get a final design. But I'm actually surprised in the end how well it worked. I think there's a lot more parts that could have been 3D printed, but I didn't really want to push the limits with this particular design, but overall, I'm, really proud of it. I'm not going to lie, it's a challenge. You've got to 3D print. This is definitely an advanced model. Your printer has to be well dialed in. A lot of the tolerances are very tight to get this to work properly, and you have to use, drill bits and everything else to kind of ream the holes and make sure everything's exact. I hope you enjoyed this first foray into video making. Please stay tuned to my channel. I already have another gearbox under development, and this one is full size, as well as I've got some other projects as well in the pipeline. I hope to have coming out soon. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe out there.